Today I'll be teaching you step by step how to make this Merry Christmas door swag. Welcome to Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Come on in. Welcome to Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. How is everyone today? We are going to make a custom order Christmas door swag today. Let me just take a quick moment to welcome anyone new here to the channel. Stillwater's Wreath Designs is all about front door wreath and door swag step-by-step tutorials. We've got new tutorials uploading every single week, so if you like that sort of thing, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and create with us every week. And for my friends who have been with me for a while, I so appreciate you. Welcome back. We're going to build today's door swag on a 24-inch white pine base. I'll leave a full materials list for you below in the description of this video so that you can recreate this beauty if you'd like to do so. Of course, if you'd like to purchase a door swag exactly like the one that we're making today, I'll leave a link for you to do that as well. Go ahead and get your hot glue gun plugged in so that it can be heating up while we prep our pine base. This is just a solid white 24-inch pine base, and guys, it comes to you just like this. They're pretty worse for the wear when you order them. So basically there's just a ton of white pine ties. At the top you've got a loop so that you or your customer can hang the swag once you've completed it. And we need to get this guy fluffed out before we begin. So just take a couple of minutes here and fluff these pine ties out. And all we're really doing, guys, is making sure that there's an equal number of these pine ties on the sides and in the center. So we're just going to take a few minutes here to fluff up our swag base. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to flip this guy over and show you what the back looks like. So the back, you can see that we've got a pretty heavy-duty wire spine that runs all the way down our door swag and gives it great stability. Looks like our pine ties are running equally across the back as well. All right, and so you can see it basically just looks like an upside-down artificial tree. Our theme today is going to be red and white. Merry Christmas. We're going to scoot our pine swag base off to the side so that we can prep our deco mesh. And I'm just going to be using this 10-inch deco mesh that's got thick red and white stripes. And there's no hard and fast number on how many pieces of deco mesh we'll need to load into our base, guys. They're all made a little bit differently with a little bit different amount of density. So we're going to start out with 14 pieces. I typically use between 14 and 18 pieces of the 10-inch deco mesh. We're going to cut our pieces at 22 to 24 inches in length. And guys, you know, you're welcome to measure this out with your self-healing mat or ruler. I don't really measure them out when I'm doing swags. Just to be quick, I literally just pull that deco mesh straight out in front of me so that my arm is at a 90-degree angle, and then I cut. So essentially, if my arm's in the same place every time, we've got about the same length. This is 22.5, not quite 23 inches in length. So I'm going to go ahead and start out by cutting 14 pieces at 20 to 24 inches in length, and then I'll meet you back here. All right, now that we've got our deco mesh cut, we're going to make cruffles to stuff into our swag base. If you're new to deco mesh, friends, deco mesh loves to fray. So anything that we can do as creators to help reduce that fray is always ideal. And the Cruffle method is great for that. I would recommend that you grab a chip clip or a clothespin for this process. Just makes it a little bit easier. And as you can see, our Deco mesh piece likes to curl in on itself. And when you're bringing your first piece into your work area, guys, go ahead and lay it down curl side up. I'm going to place my rotary cutter in the middle just as a weight. And on one end, I want you to curl that end in 2 or 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then take your clip and pinch that guy in the middle to hold it in place. Then we'll spin our Deco mesh piece around and do the same thing to the opposite end. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move my weight, and now we're going to ruffle the remaining area of our Deco mesh. And so put your hand stationary on the end of your piece of Deco mesh. Place your thumbs down on that curl to hold it in place, and then use your 8 fingers to crawl that Deco mesh in a scrunch and gather way back into your hand until you reach the other side. Remove that clip and pinch that guy in the middle, and you've just made your very first cruffle. And what a cruffle really is, guys, is just a curl on either end and then the ruffle in the middle, hence the cruffle. We'll bring our swag base back to our work area, and we're going to add this guy down in. And we're going to be using these pine ties to secure our cruffles as we add them in. We're going to start on one side at the top, work our way all the way down to the tip, and then all the way back up. So you're just going to find 2 neighboring pine ties, place that cruffle all the way down to the base. Give those 2 pine ties a couple of tight twists to secure that guy in. And we've just added our first cruffle. Let's do one more together and then we'll speed ahead. Grab a piece of Deco mesh and lay it in your work area, curl side up. It's going to place my weight there in the middle. At one end, roll or curl that mesh in 2 or 3 times. Then grab your clip, pinch that guy in the middle to secure it, and spin your Deco mesh piece around. We're going to do the same thing to the other end, giving it 2 or 3 curls. What that does, friends, is tuck away that raw edge so that it can't be disturbed, which really helps to prevent that fray. Once you've created your curl at the opposite end, go ahead and scrunch and gather that mesh into your hand all the way to the end of the piece. Remove your clip, pinch that guy together in the middle, bring your swag back into your work area, and immediately below where we added our last piece of mesh, find 2 neighboring pine ties, stuff that cruffle all the way down to the base, and give those pine ties a couple of tight twists. And we've just added our second cruffle. So go ahead and repeat this process, going all the way down one side of your pine swag base and then back up the other side. You may need to cut a few more pieces. That's totally fine. Make it as full as you'd like, and then I'll meet you back here. All right, I finished loading my pine swag base with the cruffles. I did end up needing to cut 3 more, so I actually ended up using 1 entire roll of that 10-inch red and white striped. But look how stinking cute our base is coming together, guys. Nice and full. Let's go ahead and get our sign added in. This is just a Merry Christmas metal sign from Hobby Lobby. This guy's just a little bit over 19 inches in length. All right, guys, so we're going to cut off this twine hanger that came with the sign. I've just grabbed some white 12-inch pipe cleaners, I'm going to marry them together so that they're longer. And to marry them together, you're just going to come down about 2 inches on each of your pipe cleaners and then twist, twist, twist one around the other on both sides. Nice and tight. And then the same thing on the opposite end. Just like so. Perfect. And then I'm going to run that pipe cleaner right through this hanger. And at the middle point, I'll just give it a twist or two just to keep that guy from sliding. Now we're going to do the same thing at the opposite end. Now that we've got our elongated pipe cleaners attached to our sign, I want this guy to lay about 1/3 of the way down from the top of our base. So I'm going to hold that in place and flip this guy over. And then one side at a time, I'm going to part that mesh and bring those pipe cleaners in. And then I'm going to take both of them. Probably could have got away with just one pipe cleaner, guys. And make a couple of twists, just enough to hold it in place. Then I'm going to flip this guy back over, make sure I'm still happy with that placement. And I am. So we're going to do one more flip. And we'll finish tightening that guy up. So I'm going to twist those several times, 5 or 6 times or so. Then I'm going to grab my small wire snips and just trim those guys off. Like so. Then we'll take this little nub and just poke it back into the swag so that if we or our customer grab it here, it doesn't poke us. And then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and run 3 or 4, inch and a half strips of glue. And that'll just ensure that there's no pokey ends on our pipe cleaners, nor will it slide. So we're going to give it a few minutes to dry, and then I'll meet you back here. Now that our glue is nice and dry, we'll flip this guy back over. All right, guys, the next step is to add a few green glittered pine spray. So this is actually a single spray with probably 10 or 12 individual stems. I'm actually going to trim all of these guys off. I did grab 2 of these bushes from Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if we'll need 1 or 2. So we'll start out with 1. Again, I'll trim these all off individually and then we'll glue them in. I've got all of my pine branches trimmed down so that we can add them individually. So just a quick pro tip, guys, when I'm adding my embellishments and my florals and all of the pretty things into my wreaths and door swags, I always start with the filler pieces and then work my way towards the more statement pieces. That's just a personal preference. You can certainly add them in as you wish. And so I've cut down the glittered pine bush. This is about how long most of the pieces are. You can see that really pretty glittering on there. And I'm going to dry place them first and get them all where I want them. And then we'll go back in and run a quick 1 to 1.5 inch bead of hot glue to anchor these guys down in. So let's take a second and get our pine pieces dry placed in. All right, I've got my pieces placed in there. I think the single bush is going to be plenty since we've got some other beauties to add in. So now I'm going to work my way through each of those pine embellishments and hot glue them in. All right, you guys, I've got those glued down in, and how stinking cute are they? You probably noticed I just glued them in where they were. These guys really grab nice and tight, and I didn't want to pull them back out. So I just parted the branches and ran my glue gun right down at the base where these pine pieces were nestled down in and gave them 2 squirts of glue. As I mentioned earlier, I do have another bush of these cute pine ties. We may add a few in along the back once we're finished adding our other embellishments in, but for now, let's keep on. Next, we're going to add these super cute red glittery ornaments from Hobby Lobby. These guys are 3 inches in diameter, and when you use ornaments, guys, as embellishments into your wreaths, make sure that they are shatterproof. We're going to nestle them in with this cap of the ornament. So let's do some dry placement and then we'll glue them down. All right, once you're happy with that placement, just pull your ornament out, run a good bead of glue all the way around that ornament top. So that's a couple, 2 or 3 full squirts. And then be careful not to touch it, guys. Just give that a little twist and nestle that in. Hold it for about 10 seconds and move on to the next ornament. You guys, this is looking so cute. I'm going to add in 2 glittery snowflake picks. These are from Hobby Lobby. And 6 of these little white and red ornaments. Let's get them dry placed and then we'll glue them in. You guys, our swag is coming along so stinking cute. We've got one more addition, and that is a super cute little bitty red pip berries. I'm going to snip off each one of these branches from the bush. We'll dry place them into our swag and then glue them in. All right, my crafty friends, we are finished. Look how stinking cute this beauty turned out. Thank you for spending time creating with me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps my little channel to grow. Thanks for spending time with me today, friends. Happy crafting.